Okay, today I'll run you through just some of the easy ways you can customize the desktop for a single user and then take those changes and apply it to multiple users using group policy. So one of the things that comes up quite regularly is people asking how extensible is the start screen. So what you'll notice here is that I've already gone through and cleaned up some of the normal items that you may see. But people ask, well, how do we get rid of things such as that? So anything that we think may be a distraction to the user or things that we don't want to bring to the user's attention, how can we remove those? So it's very easy with this, the new start screen. All we do is we can right mouse click on it and say that we want to, in this case, unpin it from the start. And now we've gotten rid of that. Now we could do the same over here. We may say, look, people don't really need to know what the weather is. They can look outside, have a look, see what's in the sky. That should give them that indication. But again, you'll see we've got the same options where we could go through and resize it, or we could just turn the live tile off. But in this case, I'll just go through and unpin it from the start menu, just so that we've gotten rid of a little bit of clutter. Now, what I want to do here is I want to start pinning some of the Office applications that we do use day in and day out to make it very easy for people to find those. So what I want to do now is choose the applications that I know that every user is going to have to use on a regular basis. And once again, I just start using right mouse click functionality to select the ones I want, but then I hit Control. So the same way that we'd hit Control to get multi-select in other applications or in other parts of the operating system, I just start selecting them through here as well. So now that I've multi-selected these, I can just choose Pin to Start, and then all of a sudden we'll see that they're up here. So what we want to do here though is say, well, people are going to be using these applications more than some of the others that are there. So we want to just bring them across, and all I'm doing here is left mouse clicking and doing a traditional drag and drop. So anything that's related to Office, I could come through and just put in here. And then what I could also do is name the groups. Okay, so there we go, we've renamed those. So the other thing that I probably do want to do though with this desktop icon is I actually want to make that one nice and large, just to remind people that what they see here should reflect what's on their desktop, so that it's very easy for them to jump back and forth from this start screen to their desktop. Okay, so we've gone through, we've done some pretty quick and easy customization. Obviously you can do a lot more customization than that. But what I want to do now is export this and make it something that actually sticks. So we could have it so that it sticks to this machine, or that we could load it into group policy on other machines. And there's a few different things that we can do here to make that happen. So the first thing that we need to take a look at here is this PowerShell window where I've already got the commandlet typed out, but it's export-start layout. So the start layout is the start screen layout. So effectively what it's going to do here is export this out as an XML file to a local path on this machine. Now in reality, in most production networks, you're going to be saving this out to a UNC file share rather than to a local machine. But for the sake of this demo, we're just going to keep it nice and simple and self-contained. So once I run that, it will go through, it will create an XML file. And if we want to take a look at what's included in that, we can, if we just go to the C drive, and there's that GP start screen folder that I told it to save it to. And there's the lockdown XML file. So it doesn't take long to create that because it really doesn't, there's really not a lot that's inside of there. Now we can open that up to see what's inside there, and it's really just going through, it's got positioning information. It's not really something where you'd be going through and working directly with this XML file. Instead, you'd be going through and just doing that export, because as soon as you start making any changes within the XML file, you're kind of on your own when it comes to troubleshooting, which generally isn't the place that you want to be. So what you need to do next is just open up Group Policy Editor. So again, you'll notice this is just something I'm doing at the local machine level. So if we were working in an AD environment in this case, we would just be applying this where appropriate in an OU structure rather than doing it down at the machine level like we're doing here. But the option that we want is under User Configuration, Admin Templates, Start Menu and Taskbar. The really important one that we want to take a look at right now is the Start Screen Layout. Now once we go in and take a look in this one, if we take a look at the description, it really says it all. Specifies the start screen layout for users. So what we do here is enable that, and then we can just insert the details of that file that we'd already created. Then I can hit apply, and we'll say OK to that. We know that it's good because we just created it. And what I'll do now just to get that to apply is I'll just go through and sign out and then sign back in again to see if we've got that applied. Okay. Now, it looks the same, but how do we know that it's applied? Well, despite my best efforts, I can't actually move things around on there. So you'll see here that things are moving as I'm trying to click and move things around, but I don't actually have the ability to do that. Another question that then comes up is, but what if I then try to customize that? Well, we saw that I couldn't go through and pin anything. Sorry, I couldn't move anything that was already pinned. But you'll see here, I'm not actually left clicking, I'm right clicking here to try to get those context sensitive menus. So it's not actually giving me that option to actually be able to add more items in. So I can't, so even though we can still see the things that I've added, we've actually locked it down. So it's not just that initial start screen, it's not just the layout, it's also things that we're able to add or remove from that as a user. We don't have that ability. So now we've got another situation. We've got the same machine, but I've just uninstalled Office. And what I want to show you here is what happens after something has been uninstalled. You'll see here that the Office section has been removed, so it's not sitting between back to desktop and other stuff. But if I go back to the desktop now, and we decide that we actually do want to reinstall Office so we can see what happens, I can just go back to the Office Pro Plus folder, and we can just do an offline installation of Office 365 Pro Plus. I've already got the necessary files downloaded locally. Once it reaches a certain point during the installation, we'll actually have all of those Office icons repopulated. So it means that we could go through and customize this based on a superset of whatever users are potentially going to have installed, and then if they install them over time, those things will get added. So what you saw then was that the Office applications just magically appeared there. It's not really magic, it's just a matter of, we've already said that if they appear on the machine, it will just lay them back out again the way that they were in that original configuration. So what this is telling me is that I've now got pretty much a standardized start screen layout that I can apply to one machine, two machines, or via group policy, pretty much as many machines as I really need to. So when people say, well, I need something to get rid of the clutter, I just want to make our line of business applications the most prominent ones that are in here, you can see that those few steps that I followed actually make this whole process very, very simple. And it's just a matter of, from your customer's perspective, deciding whereabouts in the group policy layout or your OU structure that you actually start applying these settings out to the users. So hopefully that's given you a good quick look at some of these capabilities and gets you ready to start deploying some of this with your customers.